Hello, everyone. Welcome back to St. Louis Teens. Today, we are here with Maya, who's the founder and CEO of the Word Project, a community media organization that celebrates, centers, and serves people and their stories from the margins through art and photography. Maya, you were selected for the 25 Under 25 Social Entrepreneurs. Congratulations, and thank you so much for your phenomenal service to our youth. Maya, thank you so much for being here with us today. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what inspired you to start the Worth Project?
So hi, Street. Thank you so much for having me on here. And a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, and I went to school in the Midwest. Going there to Indiana University just kind of opened my eyes to this exists, and that people are kind of messed up, but when you are in a place where it's like really very like highlighted and very very much apparent, it really just makes you feel like you need to do something. Um, and um, so my second year at Indiana University was the year that Trump got elected, and the whole story of how the Worth Project kind of came into existence was because the next day after the election, I was walking to work very early in the morning, and I just remember feeling so much, anger, fear, and worry and anxiety, just so much worry over what was going to happen. And I also just felt like an incredible amount of like anger at the fact that someone who had spoken so ill of so many people that are people that that are people that I know, or people that I'm connected to in some kind of way, or he had, it just upset me, and I wanted to do something to validate him. And basically, I just felt like I needed to do something, and the Worth Project was what I did. I mean, it started out as a photo series. It started out as the I Am Worthy photo series, and it was basically, something that people applied to be models with us, and based on their answers, we'd select them. And it was just like a very incredible experience. I guess I didn't really think it would kind of like go the way it did. I didn't expect it to be something that happened more than once, but it did, and here we are. So basically, the Worth Project, it shows that like sometimes good things can come out of very negative emotions if you channel it in a good way,
And
So
my
that's kind of how it started.
and Maya, your vision is to make everyone feel worthy, inclusive, and celebrated. How are you accomplishing this goal?
We do this through media. Basically, like the whole thought of it is that, for a very long time and even now, there are certain groups of people, certain identities that are not represented, or if they are represented, they're represented with stereotypes or one-dimensionally, or just in ways that do not render tribute to people in the way media should, or it does not like portray them in the way they should. So through the Worth Project, we essentially we have college students, and I'm hoping eventually to be able to expand more into the community. I would love to for our chapters to have people that are all over the community, not just in the universities. It's just kind of easier that way right now. Is that college students are making the I'm Worthy photo series is essentially, it's a record, and it's a record of kind of like who we are and what we do. And that's just one facet of the Worth Project, because it also expands into other forms of media. We have a documentary coming out soon. We have a magazine that we're going to be putting out as well. All of it is just to show that, like, first of all, like, we are incredible, and that we deserve to have a space where we can speak truly to each other. And my thought is also that with the Worth Project, I say, like, we want everyone to feel worthy, inclusive, and celebrated, and that's true. But who is the Worth Project for? Who are the people that have been made to feel unworthy, excluded, and degraded? it's not everyone. Not everyone has felt that way. Not everyone has systematically been placed in situations where they feel that way. So we're for those people. And we're essentially like, we want to kind of be able to join all people of those identities to be able to come together and like hold each other up. So yeah, we do that through media. We do that through the act of creation and creativity. We are people that work with us, our members, they are able to really like pursue their creative urges as much as they want, and like to be able to come up with whatever they feel is necessary for their community. That's how we work. So yeah.
And we're so thankful for all the wonderful things that the Worth Project is able to do and you just described. And I know it can be difficult, but if you had to sort of pick one part of the Worth Project that would be your favorite, what would it be?
I think my favorite part about the Worth Project is how I have been able to meet some of the most incredible people ever through this. I've had the honor of like not just meeting them and interviewing them or working alongside them. I've had the honor of even becoming friends with a lot of them. And, I love how this project, it just brings the kind of people that it brings together are very special kinds of people. It's a very special kind of person that will be drawn to that term, I am worthy, and also to our whole like ethos, our whole reason for existence. So I think that the people are my favorite part about the Worth Project. And I mean, that's what it's all about. Like the whole Worth Project is about people. So I mean, I guess like, it makes sense.
And can you share with us some of the success stories of the people and of the program that you have been able to work with through the Worth Project?
Mm-hmm. So I think that maybe one of our success stories is how, so the first year that we did the I'm Worthy photo series, it was really more of like, I had people helping me, but it wasn't a team. We didn't have a team putting this stuff together. So it's very much something that was stemming from me, and I was like trying to like push and, make it all happen. So consequently, like it was like a really nice event. We had a really great opening night. Our photo series was gorgeous, Um, and it was really fantastic, but it was still like, it wasn't as big as I guess I'd envisioned. But then it wasn't the next year. The next year I took a break from it, and then my third year, or that was like my senior year in college, I was like, I need to bring this back, because if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it, and I need to do it in such a way that people remember it and want to be a part of it and want to keep it going. So that year, 2018 to 2019, we were putting together, like, I actually had a team, I actually recruited people, and all of us together were able to just really elevate the whole project, and it became a project. It wasn't just a photo series, because originally it was just a photo series that we were doing. Now it was a project, and it was something very real and something that people really believed in. And I think seeing how we grew so much, and like also like in terms of numbers, the first year that we did the photo series, we just had 27 applications to be models, and then our second year we had like 61 applications. So you can see like, the interest and the knowledge of the project just really went up, and that's one of the success stories. I also have another one. I don't know if I'm like taking too long for you, but
No, please, yes.
so another success story. I mean, first off, also like I would say that for me, every time a model comes in and really opens themselves up with us, and really experiences the photo shoot, the interview, and everything, every time a model does that is a success story to me. Because for a lot of times, like, there are people that have a lot of experience having their picture taken, that they love modeling, all that. We have some people like that, and that I love, it's so fun to work with them. But for me, like, what touches me even more is when we have people that maybe they've never really had a photo shoot just for them, and and seeing how they kind of like open up and let us take their photograph and let us tell us about the item that they brought that's important to them, tell us about their family, their experiences. Every time a model does that, for me, it's a success story, because that's people claiming. I think that for me, every time a model comes in, it's like they're claiming their time, they're claiming their story, and they're telling it the way they want to. And that for me is a success story every single time. So we've had a lot of success stories at this point. And the last one I'm going to tell you is one of like that's super close to my heart. So we have people, our members, the ones who actually do the work and who, organize everything. Our members come from all over the school. They're not just, in the media school or in the art school. They're not just there. They're from Kelly, like our business school. They're, in science. They're in all sorts of different, departments. And that for me, is great. It's like everyone can be creative. Anyone can be creative. But we had a person come and apply to be with us, and he applied to be the producer for our documentary. And his name is Daniel. And he's one of those people I told you about, that we became friends, over this period of time working with each other. And with Daniel, I really saw, he really, and this is what I want for each of our members, is he really, super came into his, position, as the producer. At first, it was there's a lot of, we didn't know what we were doing, because, none of us had ever made a documentary. None of us, had any experience with that, especially the kind that we wanted to do. And Daniel, at first it was kind of like a transition period. But then, a couple of months in, I really saw him just taking charge, really, being, the producer that he was meant to be. And through the process, he also came to realize that what he wanted to study rather than economics was he wanted to study media. He wanted to study how to create more things like the documentary we were creating. And that for me, that's a really big success story to me, because it's showing that our members, through doing this, they can really find their path, working with the Worth Project. And that to me, it makes me so happy.
And I did want to transition over now to the COVID-19 pandemic. And with the onset of the pandemic, how has life changed for your organization and the work that you do?
Mm-hmm. So it actually, it really, our photo series and our opening night, they usually happen the spring semester. So they usually happen in April, and all throughout the semester, we're working on the photo series. So there had to come a point, when everything was starting to get out, we were not sure what's going to happen, was school going to close, was this going to happen, will we still be able to make it happen, etc. Eventually we're just kind of we can't try and do this right now, because there's no way we can get people to come all together, the way we want them to. And so for a while, it was well, what are we going to do? And I'm not going to lie, this organization, it's still I'm still figuring a lot of things out. I'm still figuring a lot about being a leader and being able to run an organization. It's very difficult. I'm sure you know that. And that you've learned about that talking to people. And I kind of went underground for a bit. I didn't really, we didn't do anything for a very long time. But now it's kind of our members, our chapter members we've been meeting, we've been talking, we've been doing planning for what we kind of transitioned into, which is, maybe we can't make I'm Worthy 2020 be a whole opening night with a photo series in person. We can't do that right now, but we can try and make it happen digitally. So we've had to be very kind of creative in terms of how we do this. For example, we're thinking about trying out those FaceTime photo shoots that we've been seeing celebrities do, things like that. It's not the same. It won't ever be the same, I don't think, after this. Hopefully we'll be able to go back into in-person stuff soon, but we've just had to be very creative about how we adapt. And It's something I've also talked a lot about with my chapter president at IU. Is like, how are we able to make sure that the Worth Project isn't just like, it's not just all about work. We want to make sure that our members and the members of our community are feeling like they have somewhere to go, or like, somewhere they could rest in a way, like, movie nights, stuff like that. We want to do that kind of stuff. So, we're just having to be creative about it, just like all the other organizations. So yeah, that's how it's been going.
And there has been a lot of discussion and concern about the mental health effects of this pandemic. What has been your experience so far with the people that you're able to work with on this topic?
I think that it's not just the pandemic that's going on right now. And there's also a lot of other issues, right, that are really weighing on people, and especially a lot of our members. And it's something that's why, like, for a while I did go kind of like, I wasn't really trying to make anything happen for a while, because I was like, I don't want to add on to what is already like a very stressful time. And that's something that we actually have to negotiate right now with all of our students are back at school. But I mean, it's true what you're saying. There's the mental health issues of having to try and still be in school. A lot of our students are also have jobs, that they have to go to. The classes are all online, so they have to juggle that, and generally on entirely online course load is just like ridiculous to me. I'm like, it shouldn't be happening in the first place. So, we're trying to figure things out day by day, and I think the most important thing for us is like, I want to make sure that our members and our community members are feel worthy, feel good, and feel like safe. We can't ensure that though. We can't ensure safety, but at least we can create spaces where maybe our members can feel that way, at least for a little bit. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Definitely. And I think that it's wonderful that you have been able to sort of adapt to the pandemic and to the needs of the people that you're able to serve. And I did
Mhm.
want to ask, what are your top three measures that teens and youth can take to feel worthy, confident, and empowered?
So I think that first and foremost, I think it's recognizing the fact that like you are here for something very important. And whether that very important thing affects millions of people or just one person, you're still here for something. And I don't know what it is for. I don't, other people may not know, but I'm hoping that you'll figure it out. And that a lot of the things that may have made you feel different or weird are actually the things that will make you stand out in the long run. I know it's really hard. Like, I'm thinking back to high school and middle school and stuff, and how children, like teens can be very mean to each other. I think, in a lot of ways it gets better in college. There's that one thing, a little bit better, at least in terms of like people don't bother you like that. Like, because people, like, I mean, they have all their own things going on. And I think that's the second thing I want to say to you guys is remember, like, you're not alone. Like, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody ever knows what they're doing. Like, you look at those adults like that are like 40 and 50 years old, they don't know what they're doing either. Everyone's like confused at times. Everyone's kind of like doesn't know what the next step is at times, and that's okay, you know? And just know that you're not alone. And the third thing I think I would say to teens and youth is, when you're feeling unworthy, when you're feeling not special, or, like, I think that it's really important to learn about the world that you live in. And that's something I'm like trying to do with the Worth Project. We want to have our education program to help people with that, because understand that your sense of worth isn't just an inner thing. I can't just bop you on the head and be like, look, you're worthy. Say it with me, I'm worthy. I can't just bop you on the head and you'll think that. No, because guess what? Like, worth isn't just an interior thing. We're also subjected to exterior systems, laws, and situations that make us feel unworthy. And a lot of that stems from racism, sexism, ableism, in any sort, all the range of isms that exist. And that's why a lot of people feel unworthy, because of these systemic issues. So I think it's really important, like, you know, if you're feeling that way, is to learn more about the history, learn more about your place in this world, and then also like learn more about yourself, you know, like don't be afraid of the parts of yourself that you may think are bad or weird, you know, don't be afraid of that. Everyone has those parts of them. If someone says they don't, they're lying. So don't be afraid to both get to know yourself better and to get to know your world better, the world better, because then you can, it's easier for you to figure out your place in the world when you know more about it.
And Maya, what would your message be for teens who are aspiring to become leaders and innovators like yourself?
Mm-hmm. I would say like what's something really important is um, to learn how to delegate, to learn how to. One of the most important things I think of being a leader is being able to tell what talents and skills other people possess, because then you're able to put them in positions or doing tasks that suit them. People don't want to feel like you're telling them every little thing to do. You know, you want to just tell like a person like, look, can you take care of this? And then you check in with them periodically, you know? And that's why you need to be able to give people things to do that either, you know, fit within their skill set or is offering them an opportunity to grow and to get better at something maybe they don't know that much about. So I think, you know, it's very important to like always like think about other people and like think about what they're good at when you're giving out things to do. Second thing I would say is to always take time to rest for yourself. That's away from what you're doing, because if you're not careful, you might end up, you know, burning out. And that happens. It happened to me last year with everything going on. With the second round of I Am Worthy, I really honestly, like I burnt out quite a bit and was unable to really do much for a couple of months. And it was kind of scary, it was kind of weird, and it happens, you know? So take care of yourself. And I think the third thing, I had something, hold on. I think the third thing is also to surround yourself with people that make you believe that you can do what you're setting out to do. If you're surrounded by people that like if you tell them what you want to do and they're immediately like telling you all the ways it's not going to work, um, you know, maybe I'm not saying like cut them off, you know, because they might still be decent friends, but like be mindful of who you're surrounded by, because that honestly, like that, who you're surrounded by, first of all, I mean, it's the people that you have in your life, it's your friends, it's the people you spend time with, but then also they're the people that will connect you to other people that you might also want or need to get to know. So there's that. And also I would say like be careful, you know, with when you are navigating around the world, don't ever be mean or like disrespectful to people, because you never know who you're talking to. And also like, yeah, I mean, whether someone is like a CEO or someone is like, wherever they come from, they're still worthy of respect. So like, there's that too, but be mindful of who you're talking to, because you never know, you might be talking to someone about something you're doing and they might be able to connect you with someone. So yeah.
Maya, thank you so much for your amazing service to our youth in need and to our country. And thank you so much for your time today and answering all of our questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Sri.